Hey everyone, so I am back with another vlog. This is going to be all about our winterizing fail. Like, it was just a total failure. And this, I think, is where our lack of experience with cold weather really became obvious. We built the bus when we were in Central Florida. And so there, in the winter, we may get a couple of nights where it gets just into freezing temperatures, but that's really as cold as it ever gets. And for the most part, it's fairly warm and it's not really a big deal. So, we insulated really with that in mind, and we just don't have a whole lot of experience with cold weather. So we are in North Texas right now. That's where Mike is going to school and getting his PhD, and we were not anticipating being here during the winter. We weren't really anticipating being here at all, but he got called back for a semester, so we are back in North Texas, and North Texas gets a lot colder than Central Florida. So we were part of that big sweep of super cold weather that came through, and so I think at its coldest it got into the low teens, and with the wind chill, because it's super windy here, it felt like it was single digits. We were okay for the most part. Luckily, I get cold really easily, so I have a lot of sweaters and layering stuff already, but a lot of it is for Florida weather, and it wasn't quite enough for Texas temperatures, and Mike was totally unprepared. Like, he doesn't have anything really to keep him warm enough, so we had to bust out everything, like all of our clothes, all of our blankets. Finn was wearing his doggy jacket, and he had blankets wrapped up around him. We did end up having to sort of section off the bus front and back. We've got a curtain up right here, and this is it's a little privacy curtain, so that if Mike is up late and working, he can be out here in the living room with all of the lights on and everything like that, and it doesn't bother me while I'm sleeping in the back, or vice versa. It is also handy so that, Finn can sort of stay in one area if we don't want him seeing something. Just saying. So that's handy. But so what we ended up doing is we'd shut this curtain just like it is now, and then we've got a back heater right there, and we've got a couple of other small space heaters, because we didn't put in a wood burning stove or anything like that. And I love wood burning stoves. I think it would be fabulous, but because we were anticipating being in Florida, it just wasn't worth it, and we didn't want to waste the space on it. Here though, it would have been great. So anyway, we sectioned everything off, and we would run 2 heaters at a time. We couldn't run 3 full blasts. I actually tripped our breaker because we pull in 30 amps. We're not wired for 50, so I did actually trip the breaker when I attempted to have all 3 heaters running full blast. So we can do 2 at full, but we can't do 3. So what we ended up doing is we would just heat the front or the back, depending on where we were. And we had to get Finn, like, inside all of our blankets on the bed at night so that he was, snuggled, and he had our body heat to help him stay warm and all of that kind of stuff. So anyway, while all of that happened, our pipes froze. All of our exterior pipes and the pipes inside the bus froze. We were without water for 2 days. And that was kind of, it was annoying. It was really annoying. And at the same time, we found out that our neighbors next door had a Great Dane, and they had let their dog poop all in the grass where our connections are. And it was just like mountains of poop. And it was like a little minefield trying to get to any of our connections. Like, he pooped on our water hose, and it was just such a mess. And maintenance actually came out and cleaned it up yesterday, so that's awesome. And because I feel like you never get anything if you complain about your neighbors anywhere. It never seems to go well, so I never said anything about it, and I probably should have, but oh well, that's where we're at. So anyway, that time we lost one of our water filter, so that's totally jacked. We did actually have to go out and buy one because this was our backup water filter, and I've never actually seen the inside of how these work, so that was kind of cool. It's got like a weird disc thing and a whole bunch of these, which I assume is part of the filtering spongy system, but I thought it was more like carbon based. So anyway, all sorts of cool stuff in there. So we lost this water filter in the last cold batch. We forgot to turn the water, we forgot to leave it running. We turned it off, and I think it took maybe a half hour to an hour for the pipes to freeze. And then once they froze, we didn't get out there fast enough to disconnect everything, and it all froze. And I was like, oh man, we're so bad, this is terrible. But at the same time, maintenance came around the next day. We're in an RV park right now. They came around the next day and they're like, almost everybody, their exterior pipes had frozen anyway. So they were going around with a torch and like warming everything up so that, you know, they could at least have the water running to prevent it from freezing again. So I didn't feel that bad in the end about it. But a little while ago, it also got down into freezing, but Mike was on his way back to Florida to get me because I had stayed there after Thanksgiving. And so this was, I guess, early December, right about when this happened, and he turned the water off, but didn't disconnect everything, and so there was water left in the pipes, which neither of us thought about. So for that one, we lost another water filter, and we lost the sprayer attachment on our kitchen faucet, so it's cracked. I don't know if you can see, but it's cracked all right in through here, and we didn't realize this until we turned it on and water just shot out. And I was sitting on the sofa over here and it just like sprayed me all in the face, and it was a hot mess. So we did end up buying a new we did buy a new sprayer. We managed to find one at Home Depot that matched. We bought our kitchen faucet off of Amazon. It was like 60 bucks. We did manage to find one at Home Depot that matched the finish perfectly, and it's by Kohler, so it was much more expensive. And I think just the sprayer faucet, the sprayer attachment was like $30. So, I mean, all in all, our winterizing fail cost us, you know, 2 water filters and the sprayer on our thing. But otherwise, all of our interior piping is fine. I guess we use PEX, and I guess maybe it's got a little bit more give to it, maybe, but we didn't really have any issues with any of the pipes bursting, so that's good. We have rectified our situation some, and I've got, or we, both of us did it together, Mike and I, we insulated the piping outside, so it's covered in like a layer of round pipe insulation. We've got the water filter is insulated, we've got the attachment into the bus insulated, and because we're going to go up a little bit. It's in the 70s today. Tomorrow it's going to be a little bit warmer, and then I think in a day or two it's going to rain and it's going to start dropping again, and it's going to start getting into the 30s at night again. So we're going to hit freezing temperatures pretty quickly, I think, after this. So we've got everything insulated. We're going to make sure to leave the faucet running, so hopefully that will prevent this from happening again. And I went out yesterday and luckily managed to hit up some very fabulous sales at TJ Maxx and Target and Walmart and all of those kind of places. So I've got good base layers. Mike has got base layers. He's got some good socks, you know, all of that kind of stuff. So we should be okay in the future. The only big issue that we're having now is this is a fault of our insulating. We didn't insulate the floor. There is like a really thin layer of squishy plasticky stuff that's underneath the flooring, and then it's got the plastic sheeting, but it's stuff that you do sort of standard and typical for flooring and homes. We didn't do anything extra, and we should have, because that metal underneath is so cold. So the floor of the bus stays super cold, which is uncomfortable. And then along with that, we haven't pinpointed where it's coming from. There's a really strong draft right about, so like the floor and then like a foot above the floor, there is a really strong cold draft that comes through, which is really obvious when we're trying to heat the bus. And we hadn't noticed it before. So best guess is it's either coming up through the floor somehow, or what I think it is that the sidewalls along the bus, the bottom of them was open when we went to pull all of the insulation out. And so we did a bunch of spray-in insulation in there, and then we've got the insulating sheets on top of it and the polystyrene hard insulation. So we've got that in there, but I think maybe we didn't plug all of the holes as well as we thought we did, and now it's becoming really apparent where we've got gaps and leaks, because it is actually a pretty strong, you can feel this breeze kind of coming across your calves and your knees, and it feels really hard to get anything lower than knee like warm again. So I'd have, you know, like 3 pairs of socks and thick slippers and my feet would still be cold. But you know, it's all good. So that was our winterizing fail. I think we've learned a lot from this particular experience. So if any of y'all in colder climates have got some good suggestions on how we can better winterize, I've seen some people that do the the like sun shields, you know, they're the silver things on one side. I can't think of what they're called right now, but it's to keep the heat out of a car. And I've seen them put them up along the windows, and we do have a lot of windows, so I'm sure that's contributing to the coldness that's coming in. Because bus windows, you know, are not necessarily the most sealable windows, I guess. So I have seen some people that have put them up, and I like the idea of that for the warmth, but I dislike losing the sunlight that comes in through them. So I'm not sure what else to do other than layer up and leave the water running and, you know, just suck it up and deal with it. So anyway, if y'all have got any suggestions on other things that we can do to winterize our bus, that would be super great for, you know, us warm climated people in a colder climate right now, because we are struggling just a little bit. It's just we don't have a lot of experience with this kind of stuff. So I think that's about that. That's, you know, our winterizing video. Hopefully the next go around for the next cold spell that we get goes a lot smoother. I am anticipating some pretty cold weather. The last time that we were in North Texas during the winter, we got this huge ice storm, and it just iced everything over in like this huge thick layer of ice for maybe like a week and a half. I remember it being really, really cold anyway, and we were in an apartment at that point, and we had a fireplace. So I'm sure that it will get cold again, and we will be cold regardless, but anything to make it more comfortable, because it did get cold enough to the point where I was concerned about leaving Finn by himself, just because I wouldn't be here to make sure that everything was okay with him. So anyway, that's pretty much that. I will talk to y'all later. Bye.